We assume a country's border is a single line. You cross it once, and you're in a new nation. But there's a town in Europe where you can cross an international border by walking through your own living room. Two countries, one street, and in some houses, one country in the kitchen, another in the bedroom. Welcome to Baarle, or rather, welcome to two towns pretending to be one. Baarle-Hertog is Belgian. Baarle-Nassau is Dutch. They occupy the exact same physical space, yet they have separate mayors, separate town halls, separate police forces, separate fire brigades. Baarle-Hertog isn't even near the Belgian border. It sits several kilometers deep inside the Netherlands. And yet it is, unmistakably, Belgium. Between the two towns, there are over 30 separate enclaves, 22 pieces of Belgium completely surrounded by Dutch territory, and inside some of those, 7 small Dutch counter-enclaves. The border doesn't run in a straight line. It zigzags through streets, gardens, shops, and houses. To figure out which country a building belongs to, officials use one rule. Nationality is determined by where the front door is located. There's a story locals still tell of a Belgian resident who, rather than accept Dutch nationality after a boundary adjustment, simply moved his front door to the other side of the house. This chaos didn't start with some modern political stunt. It started in 1198, when a feudal lord named Godfried van Schoten, the Lord of Breda, handed over his territory to Count Hendrik I of Brabant. But he didn't give it all away cleanly. He kept scattered plots for himself, seemingly at random. Over the following centuries, the Dukes of Brabant and the Lords of Breda, who eventually became the House of Nassau, kept trading, selling, and inheriting these parcels in ever more complicated patterns. Nobody at the time thought they were drawing a future international border. They were just settling land disputes between neighboring nobles. The first moment this actually mattered politically came in 1648, with the Peace of Münster, which ended the 80 Years' War. Land tied to Nassau became part of the Dutch Republic. Land tied to Turnhout, and therefore to Brabant, stayed with the Spanish Netherlands. The patchwork was locked in place. Then in 1830, Belgium declared independence from the Netherlands, and suddenly this obscure local patchwork became an actual international border. It took Belgian and Dutch negotiators until the Treaty of Maastricht in 1843 to formally ratify the boundary, and even then, surveying every scattered plot took 15 years. Rather than simplify the mess, both countries agreed to preserve it exactly as history had left it. You'd expect a border this absurd to eventually get cleaned up. It never has, and in some ways, it's become the town's identity. Walk through Baarle today, and you'll see white crosses and metal studs embedded in the pavement, marking the exact line between the two countries. House numbers come in different styles depending on the nation, often with a small Belgian or Dutch flag posted beside the door to clarify which country you're looking at. For years, bars in the Netherlands had earlier closing times than bars in Belgium. So patrons at establishments straddling the line would simply carry their drinks to a table on the Belgian side when Dutch closing time arrived. During COVID-19 lockdowns, restrictions differed on either side of the same street, meaning a cafe could be legally open on one side and closed a few steps away on the other. There's a beverage shop on Molenstraat, locally nicknamed De Biergrens, the beer border, that has 2 separate addresses, 2 phone numbers, and 2 cash registers, because the building itself straddles the line. The strangeness even mattered during wartime. In the First World War, the Belgian enclaves couldn't be occupied by the German army without crossing the neutral Netherlands. So the Dutch government fenced off the areas and built a church and school for Belgian residents effectively stranded inside them. In the Second World War, this protection disappeared entirely, since Germany occupied both countries at once. What's remarkable about Baarle isn't just that the border is strange, it's that everyone involved decided the strangeness wasn't worth fixing. Two governments, centuries apart, looked at a border that made no administrative sense and chose to formalize it exactly as it was, rather than draw something cleaner. Today, locals don't see it as a problem to be solved. They see it as simply how their town works. 2 churches, 2 town halls, 2 fire departments, 1 shared library staffed by both countries. It's a reminder that national borders aren't always the product of grand strategic decisions. Sometimes they're just the fossilized record of a property dispute between two medieval lords who never imagined their paperwork would still matter 800 years later. If you liked uncovering the story behind one of the world's strangest borders, subscribe. There are plenty more geographic anomalies like this one still to come.